Hold on. Kia ora. Thank you for coming in. Just giving it a few moments to let it go around to everybody. Kia ora, how are you? Yeah, it's supposed to go live every day, but I ended up I don't think I went live for the last 2 days. How's your lives going? Pretty good, been feeling pretty good today. Had work and then, gotta do what you gotta do, clean your house and do your shiz. Now I thought I'd jump on here for a couple of hours and, chat and pull some cards. Kia ora, everybody. Nice. Yeah, that's how it goes, eh? Life is progressing. It's always a work in progress. And the best thing about that is a lot of people, for me, on the spiritual path, we always want to jump in leaps and bounds, but the main journey is simply the next step, one step at a time, and every step is valuable, and not to miss a step too. Like for me on my journey, it was just I always wanted to get from here to there so fast, and I kind of regret it because I feel like if I had have just appreciated the small steps that I took to get to that point, then I might have actually enjoyed a lot of the parts of my journey that seemed hard or negative. But I mean, that's all in hindsight now, eh? It's a delay. Yeah, well, that's, actually, this was a big lesson that the universe taught me last year actually about that, because I was always someone, like I said, that always wanted to get places fast, and I would always, for some odd reason, every time I hit the road, I'd be stuck behind a truck or the slowest driver in Hawke's Bay. I would be behind them and stuck behind them all the way, and I used to get frustrated because I was just like, oh man, I need to hurry up and get to this place. And then it's sort of just like there was this point when I realized I think the universe is putting things in front of me, like, you know, like it was just coincidence every single time. If anyone else jumped in the car and they would drive me and I was just in the car, we'd just speed straight there, no trucks, no nothing. But as soon as I got in the car and I started to drive, a truck would get in front of me. So actually it was interesting, because when I started to realize that the universe was doing this to me, I quit. Yep, all of them, roadblocks, roadworks, like here in Hawke's Bay we get a lot of congestion going into the expressway and, you know, the highway and stuff like that. So, you know, just constantly in delay. And when I started to realize that the universe was putting stuff in front of my pathway, I actually started to learn to take it easy, to allow that process to slow down. Because when you aren't in resistance, when you're allowing that truck to be there, when you're allowing that delay, there is no delay. Time stretches. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Appreciate you. And welcome. Yeah, I started to appreciate the delay, and now it's interesting because if I get stuck behind the truck, I would usually go, oh, you know, get the full on, not road rage, but you know, you start to say shit, you know, you're starting to say shit to the driver here, like, but now I'm just like, sweet as, you want to take your time, I'm going to take my time, because I stopped worrying about time, and I just allowed that to happen. And so whenever it does happen, it doesn't stress me out. I'm not in resistance, like you said. I'm not suffering in any way. I'm just enjoying the ride. And I just learned how to sort of like take my focus away from like the intention to get ahead, and just simply started, you know, like, oh well, driving slow, I'm gonna appreciate seeing that bird. I'm gonna look over there and appreciate that oh, I like the style of that car, you know, like it's like taking your attention off that thing that's starting to frustrate you, and allowing you to just enjoy the ride. Otherwise you'll always be fighting it. And so now I just, you know, if I find myself being pushed back, thank you so much, I just let it happen. You know, I don't really get mad or act out like I used to. yeah it really is. If you can handle getting out of that mindset of everything's working against me, and then reminding yourself that it's actually working for you. There's a reason that you've got to slow down. There's a reason that it wants you to just take one step today, you know, and it's sort of just when we learn to slow down the process inside of us, then time bends and stretches real easy, you know. I always find that when I'm in less of a hurry, that I'm never late. It's weird. When I started to just allow processes to happen without, you know, like pushing back or running away or avoiding, shit got done faster with less effort. No, I think sometimes we get really used to we love the parts where we're just like rolling and, you know, we're getting our shit done. That's always nice because there's a thrill and achievement. But sometimes we have to understand and value the times when we're not doing things, because that can also be a space where thank you so much, a space where you're actually cultivating something, or there's an opportunity for you to learn. And I just think, you know, when time's moving fast, do the action. When time's moving slow, take that rest, or do something softer for you, like for your mind. That could be simply everything's being a bit laggy today, so I might go and do a bit of a meditation. I might go and listen to an audio book, or I might go and just sit out by a tree and write some shit down, like, you know, like find a process that's gentle on you, you know, because sometimes we have to be gentle on ourselves, and even in that gentleness, that's production or productive for you. Oh yeah, you need spacious clarity, my friend, if you really want to tune into your intuition without hesitation. And you may feel, you know, like, oh no, I've got that, but once you hit spacious clarity, it gets, your intuition goes up next level, because you can then sort of step into, I don't know, it's not stepping into the shoes of another, but you step into a space where all the information is already there, and you just start to see it and know it a lot faster and clearer. When we tap into the space, when we tap into spacious clarity, there's less time as well. There's less resistance. There's less pain in your body. There's less pain in your mind. It's just really a state of being as well. It's sort of just like you let go of all the physical heaviness, and so you're in your, you know, your spiritual body, and your spiritual body doesn't have the aches and pains, doesn't have hunger, doesn't have you know, anything to do with suffering. It is simply one with all things, and it's a beautiful space to get into. And it just takes practice, really, when it comes to this, about letting go of, you know, for me it was letting go of the idea that I was just this person, that I was just this body and just this mind and just this spirit. But you're all spirit, you're all body, you're all mind, you know. And yet in that complete oneness and connection, there's also this space where there's the nothing, and the nothing is your potential, which is unlimited. So you learn to be all out and all in the same space. It's interesting, like a heartbeat, like breathing. It's a natural destination for your spiritual body to want to navigate to. It's just that your physical, your humanity can't remember it, but your spirit remembers it. And so once you give way to that and allow that to guide you better, clearer, easier, faster, you find yourself in places that are within yourself. That's why I call it the deepening. There are so many places within you, so many temples of wisdom and worship and love within you. You know, you get told your body is a temple. Well, literally it is a landscape of temples, and you just go to these temples and engage with the information that's available to you. You know, it's like going into the city and you go, oh, I want to go to the doctor, I need to go to the bank. You know, it's like, instead it's like, I want to go and speak to my spirit guides. I want to go and have a kōrero with my higher self. I want to, you know, talk to the universe. Like there's all these different spaces where you can commune, and you don't have to go out there. All of that's in here. It's inside of you. It's just unseen by your physical eyes, but it's known within your spirit, and your spirit will take you there. And I think the worst part of like the spiritual journey for many is that they will never know that they have a disconnection from that. They will never know what it feels like to be completely in wholeness with themselves, and they'll search and search everywhere for it. But they only have to sit with themselves and just allow them, you know, that state to wash over you, and just allow you to move you into and shift you into that space. It's really beautiful, you know. Like I never regret any of the spaces that I've learned, but I would say in the last 3 months, Spirit really talked to me about transcendence, you know. Transcendence, not transcendental meditation, though that's really awesome if you're into it, but transcendence, the ability to transcend what we've been told we are, what we know, you know, pushing past the limitations of that and evolving the way we. This is why I'm bringing in some sort of like challenging aspects of. Kia ora, thank you. Thank you, Amy. Try to look nice for you guys. Usually it'd be like pants and a hoodie. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, it's sort of just like when when we start to accept something as it is, and we get comfortable with it, like a knowing, a terminology. That's what I was talking about, you know, empaths. Thank you so much, Lizzie. You know, it's time to move out of identifying with being an empath, because a lot of the mindsets behind being an empath, not empathy, but being an empath, is that it was unsafe, you know, for us. And so I always talk about going into clairsentience, because the clairsentience allows you to clearly feel what's going on in your body. And when you can feel what's going in your body and you know what's going on with that and you understand it, then you can actually evolve that to the healing presence and bring peace to it, calmness to it. And so it's like learning that there is a place in you that will not be disturbed or corrupted by anyone else's toxicity, you know. And when I say toxicity, it's just like their negativity, their aches and pains, the heaviness, the unfinished business, the regrets, the resentment. Like, that's what we're tapping into when we sort of use our empathic abilities without a form of discipline or control. So when we are just being empaths, we are bound by this randomness of connecting with people and absorbing their shit. And this is why we get sick, this is why we get low, this is why we get depressed, especially if we have overwhelmed systems and overwhelmed belief systems that don't support us moving forward or shifting the energy. And so the way that spirit comes in for me, it's time to talk about transcendence and evolving the knowledge that we have and creating more space in order to understand ourselves better. Because if we keep going down the pathways that we're on, we're going to hit the point where we outgrow them. We're going to outgrow the knowledge that we're learning now, because we're learning at such a fast rate, you know, and we only know the tippity tip of the iceberg. There's so much more below it. And that's why I always called it the deepening, is that I didn't realize I was just standing on the iceberg of my own knowledge, you know, at the tip of it. And that I had to do what, I don't know if you've ever seen Happy Feet, but he just jumps off the top of that cliff. We got to do that. That's the deep dive. You know, it's not just into emotional waters. It's through the air, it's through the fire, it's through the earth, it's through all the elements that make you human. And then, you know, finding that spiritual safety net to land on. And so it's sort of just a learning that we can actually evolve what we've been told we are, and that we're more than that. And so even though I might bring forward challenging things, it's not to challenge you, it's just for the pearls. I call them pearls. So this is what Spirit always shows me, is these pearls rolling towards me. And I was like, why am I seeing pearls? And they're like, pearls represent wisdom. And I was like, yes, pearls represent wisdom. But he said, but there are pearls ready to be seen and known by you, Sonia. So pearls are like people that have been created. You know, if you understand how a pearl is created, it's actually an irritation of sand that the oyster has. So what it does is it starts to, you know, lump all the sand or the irritation together and coat it in this pearlesque coating, and it hardens and becomes a precious stone for us, or gemstone. And so it's sort of like the pearls are starting to emerge from these oysters. You know, they're breaking free from their shells, and they're wanting to be seen. And the thing about a pearl is that it looks better on a necklace, which is connection to all the other pearls. And so this is just something that they show me, is just like all the pearls are coming together now. So it's the ones that are ready. You know, when I put up a lot of challenging things, I always put, for those whose hearts are open, right? If your heart is open, your mind will be open, and you'll be ready to receive it. Yes, the diamonds in the rough, it's the same aspect, but diamonds create illumination and pearls hold wisdom. The difference. I used to say I was a multifaceted diamond, which I still believe that. But, you know, with every facet, it creates more value. But, yeah, the pearls are the ones who are tapping into the wisdom, which is ancient wisdom, or it's like we're learning new things, but actually they aren't new, they're ancient. And we're just revitalizing and bringing it back. and with that comes a lot of indigenous, knowledge. But the reason why indigenous people were able to live harmoniously in their environments is because they understood their environments. They understood the movements of the environments, how to read it. And this is why we've got disconnection sickness. We've forgotten our own nature, our own knowledge that we had for many, many generations. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's beautiful. Reconnection is important, especially if you're on a spiritual journey. And I did the same too. I always knew I was Māori though, but I was completely disconnected from my, my roots. My whānau are from up north, but they travelled down here to work. So I don't really have any, besides my dad, he's from Wairoa, any kahununu marae as our marae. So. But yeah, we all do our ancestral healing. Reconnect with your ancestors because they want to bring you guidance. They want to help you heal. A lot of our spiritual, I call it spiritual team, right? They actually are here to help you move through your life, and they understand that you carry bags, so they're going to help you unpack that. And so they'll come forward in whichever form is best needed for you. And at some phase in our journeys, we need our ancestors. We need our tupuna for their guidance, their knowledge of the territory and the lands that we stand on, and their ability to harmonise with the environment. Hi, my friend. They never forget us. They never have. And that was something, so I must have known, because I was like, what do your ancestors want to know? Because I pulled out my own deck. That's why I thought, that's what I need to share today. And I was like, I didn't want to spend like 500 hours making one video for the live, so I just did a quick pull. Going back home, if possible. If you don't know where your home is or where you're connected, then it's like for me, a lot of things that I did through meditation, because that's all I knew. When I first started my spiritual journey, I had no one around me that I knew that was doing what I was doing, and so I had to explore, which is why I have a lot of the Western stuff, Western knowledge, which I know is really tough. Especially when you look at me, and I feel like I should be more, more Māori. There should be more Māori in what I say. But I do appreciate my journey. I'm slowly integrating a lot of my culture into what I do. And I'm proud of being Māori. It's just, I don't have the traditional spaces. The only thing that I really can say is that if you don't have a base to go to, then you're the base. Tap into you, do some meditation, or do some just sitting and being with yourself and asking yourself the questions, asking your ancestors to come forward for the highest good. I always say that, always for the highest good, so that any answers you receive will serve you and be of service to you. And you have to get really specific with your wording when you're tapping into spiritual spaces. Something I've learned is your words. It's not so much your words, it's the meaning behind your words, the meaning that you associate to the words, which brings us back to that transcendence, right? We're outgrowing some of these terminologies and philosophies that we have been raised with, because this is a new world with new energy, and it needs new spaces of thinking, of meaning and understanding. So, Yeah, I appreciate my journey. I really do. I was lucky. I just sort of, once I decided I wanted to change, I just stepped out into the unknown, and I was just lucky to find some beautiful people along the way who helped me, and that was definitely a really powerful time for me, because I was ready. Once you choose it, you're ready. Once you make that choice, say, I'm on the spiritual journey, I'm ready. And it activated something in me, a passion. I tell you what, I grew up most of my life really aimless. You know, I was like not very ambitious, not very passionate about anything. I just kind of was good at different things, and I would say I was pretty mediocre. And then I found spirituality in a whole nother light, and I just became very passionate about healing, about developing myself. Self-development's really powerful, and becoming a sovereign being, and then just by walking that path, started noticing that I had skill sets and abilities that I never knew I had. And like a lot of us have gifts. People call them gifts, I call them skill sets and abilities. And the reason why I call them skill sets and abilities is because it allows us to evolve and develop them. And I feel like sometimes when we say gifts, they're given from other places, but you came in with these. And yes, maybe other family members had similar gifts, but they won't have held that gift the way that you'll hold it in this life. So it's yours and uniquely yours. And so this is what I mean about meanings behind things is really important, about bringing forward the right meanings, so that when you speak your word, when you speak your words, they have that kind of frequency and meaning behind them, and it just hits people differently that way. Awesome, Weezy. Skill sets and abilities, yeah. It's just the way that I associate things. I think sometimes my brain is like if I look at my human design, like I'm a generator, but I'm also my archetypes and stuff. I'm like a connector, so I connect dots. It's weird how I can just sit here and just connect dots out of thin air. Like, people are like, how did you come to that? And I was like, I don't know, it just made sense. I just saw one dot, and then I followed it to the next, and then I followed it to the next. And it's just a natural thing, like that we naturally do, is that we have these skills that they're innate, right? And I've always been like that. That's why I always liked puzzles. I always liked crosswords. I always liked things I had to really figure things out and find meaning to them. And it just it's just a natural thing for me to explore, connect dots, and that's just how my path's been too. So I've got to connect along the way with a lot of different people and a lot of different modalities and experience and explore them all, and weirdly coming across I would say mentorship without being mentored by one person only. People come and go like seasons, so I follow the wrong dots. Okay. Well, it's only because you think that those dots are wrong in your mind. Sometimes they're the right dots with the wrong meaning. Or are you meaning people? That's all. Sometimes it's a right dot, but you don't have or cannot comprehend the right meaning for that dot. And that's what I mean, it's different. So, like for me, when I see a dot, I may not understand it, but I'll still accept it as what it is. But once I find the next dot, then I understand why. When you're connecting the dots and you're finding information, why the first dot showed itself to me, or why I connected to that one thing first. Well, it is a choice too. How? Like life is literally connected choices, dots. That's what my spiritual team are pretty. Because what I do is that I'll spend time just sitting. I don't really meditate like a lot of people do. Oh, sorry, this part is annoying me. Sorry. I don't really meditate like a lot of people do, and they sit in their pose. I just found a really quick way for me to just tune in and get into the zone. It's like you can find a place inside of you where you feel absolutely calm and clear and loved and supported, and it's literally like dropping in. And then in that space, I get a lot of information that comes forward. My intention is to just, receive whatever I need to know in this moment for my highest good. And I just started noticing that my spiritual team was starting to do things in advance, like give me information before it happens, or prepare me or nudge me in the right direction, so when an event or something happened, I was actually in the right place doing the right thing at the right time, and you start to recognize that and acknowledge it. So if I start to acknowledge or recognize that something's working well for me, and I know it's because I've followed the the nudge or the intuition, then I'll acknowledge it openly with a heartfelt moment where I just take it in and just say thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for, and the more you acknowledge that gratitude to the universe or to whoever you believe in, whoever you look up to, when it comes to spiritual spaces, it's like they say, that person gets it. I'm going to give them more of that. They're seeing the signs and the synchronicities. That's how the universe talks to you. Constant signs and synchronicities. Yeah. Because each of us have our own way of connecting in. So that's what I was saying. Even though a lot of people give them gifts because maybe in your bloodline before someone had a similar gift to you, but you will hold it differently in this life. You will use it differently, because even though you're connected to that person and also may share a similar gift, they don't have your experiences. They don't have your knowledge or your words or your wisdom. And so you'll use your gift according to your, the core feeling that you have in your heart or in your soul or in your body or in your mind, wherever you pull the energy from. Oh, thank you, my friend. A woman's intuition is life's biggest. It can be brutally truthful too. That's the thing. Because I think if you really have someone who's tuned in, they will give it to you straight. And sometimes, you don't want to hear it. Sometimes you don't want to hear it because, you might not be ready for it. But a lot of people who are intuitive that share it, they mean well when they do it. Because I've had friends that have gotten upset at some of the things I've said because I intuitively pick things up. I learned how to discern whether it was right or not for them, and I would feel it in my heart, and I would also look at them and see where they're at, whether that's a person coming in or whether that's just a wisdom that wants to drop in or kind words, Kia ora. Yes, if you'd like to get a reading, then please follow, go into my profile, click the link to my stand store, and right at the top should be live reading donations, if you'd like to get a reading. If you subscribe today, you'll also get a free card. I thought I'd put that there because I keep forgetting. I'm not really good at remembering this stuff and repeating it through the live, but even if you can't donate, even if you don't want to subscribe, just please double tap and put some likes up there on the board. Say it again. Yeah. So also please let me know if you get one, because I'll just confirm it on my stand store and do the thing. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Oh, Pearl. Okay, awesome, Pearl. Oh, well, what I might do is I think we might do a bit of a quick meditation. I like to get everybody in that synergy, which is heart-centered and open, and then we'll do the do your message, and then I'll just talk in between. Thank you, Pearl. Let's get into it. Sometimes I like to do meditations because the last couple of lives I didn't do meditations, and I usually do a quick 5-minute meditation on most of the times but I knew, I'm going to be honest, I knew that I was going to get a lot of energy coming in. And that's the honest truth. And that's why they said, this is a time that you need to tune in and synergize. So if you ever watch Gem and the Misfits, Gem and the Holograms, she's have an AI technology. I know that's probably controversial to say, called Synergy, and Synergy would help and support her. So that's why I started to call it Synergy, synchronizing energy. So if you just like to sit in a comfortable position, feet flat on the ground, hands resting, or in a comfortable space next to you or on your lap. And a lot of it is just about learning to be still. So it's not so much breathing deeply, just gentle breaths in through the nose and out the mouth. We sort of evolve the way that we do our meditations as we go along this path. It really is about learning to listen to the stillness that is within you, listening to the heartbeat, allowing your own rhythms to talk to you, to synchronize with the energy, and allowing your heart to open naturally without force, allowing yourself to be calm, to be peaceful, to feel loved, to feel supported and connected. Sometimes we feel alone, sometimes we feel isolated. But when you listen to the heartbeat of your own body, you hear the heartbeat of the universe. Every beat has value. Every part of you is divine. And all you have to do is call upon it and ask it to come forward for you. Opening your heart is easy. Opening your mind is easy and natural. It's a natural state to be in. We can let go of our worries, all our fears, all our doubts, and be in this moment, here and now. Slowing down our heartbeat, slowing down our breath, slowing down our thinking processes, and just being here in this moment. And in this moment, you can let down your guard, you can let down your defenses, you can call everything that is stretched out home, back to you. Oneness, wholeness, calling in the deep compassionate space that exists within you, calling in the innate harmony that exists within you, calling in the healing presence that exists within you, calling in unconditional love that exists within you, calling in your loved ones and spiritual team that exist within you. And in this space, our hearts can open freely without fear. Our minds can open freely without worry or doubt. As we breathe gently into our bodies, we feel more and more connected and more loved. You are a human being. You are spirit. You are divine. And a divine human being brings value. It's as simple as that. Okay, when you're ready, feel free to come back. It's as simple as learning to be still. Learning to recognize that everything you're searching for, you already have. Everything you need, you already have. There's this feeling in your body that connects with the here and now. And it almost allows you to let go of the heaviness that you were carrying in the day, the heavy thoughts you might have had, or anything that didn't go quite your way. I would say have some water, it'll probably serve you better for now. But hey, I used to drink the old Stein lagers back in the day, and I bring no judgment to that. You carry on the way that you want to. Alright, Pearl, would you like to take a deep breath? I've got a whole bunch of cards out here, so you guys know my actual deck that I created. I have the wild unknown animal spirit, the fairies, and the white light. So you get to have all of them, and a little bit of intuition in there as well. So yeah, there's a lot of centering. That's interesting. I just want to say this real quick before I start pulling cards. There is a real need for you to center yourself, because it's kind of like the way that I'm getting. Okay, and I'm going to get this a lot because I feel like this is kind of what's happening to people now, because I recognize that I went through that about 3 months ago, and we kind of go in waves. So, you know, there's a whole bunch of us that are coming out, and there's a whole bunch of us that are going into these cycles, which are healing cycles, right? And what they were talking about is that you need a central focus, because it's like all I can see is like what I'm hearing in my head is like, you spin me right round, baby, right round. So that kind of shows me like there's a little bit of, you know, chaos in the mix, and you need to be more centered and have a central focus, and not to be so easily distracted by all the chaos or the things that are happening around you. Because for some odd reason, it's like you need to be true to you. Okay, whatever's going on in your life right now, whatever may be, you know, whether it's going calmly or whether it is feeling a bit chaotic, or if it just feels like it seems like it's just a bit out of your control, it's sort of just like it's just time to, you know, centralize yourself or center yourself in a way that serves you, because it's gonna get better. Because I feel like the last time we talked, you had some really good energy, because I can't quite remember it, but it's sort of like my mind went, she had good energy last time we spoke. So it's like, it does feel like you've come around, you've been going through some cycles, and, you know, it's like you've also evolved. They just keep showing me this, so I'm just going to, like, follow that, right? It's like you've been going around in circles too, so... I do not know why they showed me an ostrich. But I'm going to say this, and it's interesting because I did answer a lady who asked this question earlier. Should I face something? Or shall I, you know, accept it? And I was saying to her that this is the time to face all the things that you've never faced before. So everything that you know that you need to deal with, this is the time to do it, because we're going to go through some deep love transformations, which is where we decide what love truly means to us as a collective. So the more you deepen and expand the idea of what love really means, not just this very small part, you know, that 1% of what love truly is in your life, which is loving someone else, but actually move through that deep love transformation and expand that knowledge around that understanding, that meaning. It allows for you to actually be involved with that love process as well, because it just, the way that they're showing me, it's sort of like, you know, getting all of those things, you know, how can I, and you guys know that I often get a lot of messages before I put out messages, and then during the lives, this is why I put them out. And it's like, how can I love somebody else if I can't love myself enough? So the central part for me will always be the heart, right? So it's like centering there a lot more deeper. So you're going to hear me say that a lot. deepening your knowledge of what love means to you, because it's really important. And if you feel like things are getting out of control, this is the time to just like anchor in like anchor in how much love you want in your life, how much love you deserve in your life, and also who loves you, you know, not just your family in life, but your family in spirit. There are lines and lines and lines of our whānau sending love to us that we may not be aware of. Grab some of that, take some of that, get your support from your spiritual brothers and sisters, get that love that you need and bring it to the heart. Bring everything to the heart and centralize it, center it into you. And that way, when you hit those curveballs, when you're hitting that dark, deep space within you, you've got something to lean on, something to soften the blow, something to catch you. And this is something that we have to understand. Many of us don't have these belief systems, and when we hit these curveballs, we hit, you know, drive over that over the curb and bump, you know, bump ourselves in the car that we're driving on our journey, and we get shaken, and we wonder why we feel so isolated and alone. And that's because we're simply not tapping into everything that's available to us, not only in our minds but in our hearts, and not only in our hearts but in the energy around us, and not only in the energy around us but in the universe we stand in. Like expand, 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 and then you'll just see so many lines of your whānau, not just your whānau here in this life, but all the whānau that ever existed in your lives and will exist in the future, all standing there sending you love. And this is the time to feel loved. In the greatest, after great darkness, the light will emerge, and light is information and knowledge that nourishes and supports you. Become the star in your own night sky. Stop looking at everybody else's star. Be the star for you, you know, because there's only one you. I always say that to everybody. This is the only life you got. Don't mess it up, you know. Do something with it. Do something that makes you feel loved, so loved within yourself, you know, because it just, for me, that's a healing chaos. So, you know, the universe is coming in to shake some shit up and to take away what no longer serves you. And this is something we all go through, the healing chaos. We all go through those tornadoes of love. And what it does is strip us bare, but it strips us of all the things that cause us pain and suffering. And instead of running away, face it. Instead of being, you know, sticking, well, to say the ostrich was like sticking the head in the sand, but, you know, there's a deeper understanding even to the ostrich, right? That the ostrich doesn't stick its head in the sand to avoid confrontation or to avoid things, but underneath the sand are the ostrich's eggs. And what it does is it sticks its head in the sand to aerate the eggs so they don't, you know, cook, basically, in the hot desert sun. So there's a loving aspect to this, and it's kind of like, you know, sometimes we see ourselves as the ostrich, but there's a reason why we stick our head in the sand. And when we understand why, then it's easier for us to navigate our pathway. So there's a lot going on in that part of the message, but I feel it's so strong. Time to step up for yourself, even if it's just for yourself, which means that you may not be in control of how life is flowing, but you are in control of how you respond to it and where you move from this point forward. Okay? Kia ora everybody. Aroha mai if I don't reply to questions while I'm doing readings. But I hope that part makes sense to you, Pearl. I'm going to pull a couple of cards from my own Oracle deck. Indigo Oracle. This is what you need. Yeah, which is interesting. I haven't touched these cards in so long, and then I was setting up and they like literally called out to me, and that's why I pulled cards for them. But I just did a reading and this card came out in that one too, so interesting. You got ancestral power. Da, da, da. You know, 21 breaks down to a 3. 3s are about communication. Time to have that kōrero, eh? Time to have that kōrero. Time to bring forward the power within you. And that's what I mean. It's sort of like, you know, you look at the image, she's drawing that light from her heart space, right? And all around her is light. It's sort of just like letting you know. Even like I haven't looked at these cards for ages. Even around her, there's like cycles, right? Circles. But she's centralizing her energy, and when she centralizes her energy, which is just centering herself in the heart space and what she is and who she is and what she loves, then it's easier to stay grounded and not get thrown about by this tornado. That's why it's really important for us to start to expand and look beyond this very small point, that around us and in the air around us and further out, there's all this available support. And it's really important to say that there's all this available support. We often feel like we're doing this on our own, but that's because we forget we can ask for help. And if you can't get help from the people around you, you know, your immediate family, your friends, then there are other people out there in the world and in the greater reality that want to help. So just know that you are loved. And that's really important. But underneath the deck, I just want to show you. You got this card. Now, I based this card on a dream I had. So it's interesting because the lady I was talking about that dream is in here. Talking to about this dream recently, it was in here. And this is chosen to build a new world. So it's interesting that it stands by ancestral power. So for me, there's a lot that needs to be healed in you, in your child spaces, like either with children or your inner child or your childhood, you know, because when you clear it, and this is something that I brought forward before, we need to do our shit now. We need to do our shit now so that the generations that come behind us, they don't have to do it. They don't have to do our shit and then also their shit. And also, if we break cycles and patterns now, we won't have to deal with it in any generation moving forward. We do it through us. So for me, there's a lot of change that has to come in, and an intelligence that has to grow from that change. So what is intelligence? That's like taking it to the wisdom spaces, you know. Wisdom is where we can share it with others, and that guidance can really help other people, you know, move forward or show up for them in a way that helps them. So they're talking something about pulling back a bit. So what is that? Oh, I don't know why. It just feels like you're in a jam. Like you went to, it's like I wanted to put my 5 cents in and then my fingers got stuck. You know, it's like, just be mindful of people who might try to cut you off, or I don't know why they're showing me that. Oh, okay, so, okay, I'm getting it. Just be mindful of people who cut you off when you approach touchy subjects, okay, or topics. So these might be people that you need to either have closure with or won't talk about something to give you closure. Because it feels like, the way that I saw it was like, I saw you put your fingers towards something and then this, you know, and they were like, oh, pull back a bit. So I want to say there's a different way to approach it. Sometimes you can confront someone without making it seem like it's a battle, you know. Yeah, love is a battlefield. Actually, it's not. If it's in battle, it's not love at all. Okay? This is something we have to understand. People fight. They say they fight for love, but actually they're fighting for their desire to be loved. There's a difference. Love itself is totally different. Okay, I'm going to pull some more cards. Let's see what your energy is currently. Oh, you got 2 cards jump out. Ooh, I love that card. Ooh, and the bat. That's interesting. So you got the horse that came out first. I really love this because this is a powerful card. You know, you guys know that I love this particular, if you followed me long enough, this card. Literally because it's a horse, and I'm a horse, so I'm biased. Anyway, this particular card is about the physical realm. It's a very physical card. It's a stallion, so we know it's got great power. So it's interesting because you've got ancestral power. Oh, actually, weirdly, yeah, I just, for some odd reason, it's like that. You see that crescent moon in there? I'm just going to say this because it came in this way. I feel someone's either underestimated you or someone is underestimating you. Whoever it is, that you've got to always be mindful of that person. Because it feels like when you... whatever situation you're in, you're about to transform it here with the bat. The bat is about great transformation, but you see how he's kind of moving in the dark spaces. So, and you've got the horse, which is a black horse, so that tends to be like an unknown or a hidden potential or an unseen force. So I feel like when you really learn, that's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is. You don't know how powerful you are. I think when you start to really change, because the way the bat came in was like, you might have some sort of belief systems that are keeping you small right now. I believe that you're going to transform a lot of them this year. I believe in the next 6 months you're going to really step into your skill sets, whatever that is, whether that is, you know, spiritual skill sets or education skill sets or life skill sets. But something you're about to do is going to require a lot of momentum, and you're just going to change a lot of the ways that you think and feel about yourself, which this is the time to do. That's why I said you just face some of these things. Because over here, chosen to build a new world, I just think you start getting this vision forward. You know, I just feel like you start getting inspired by maybe ancestral spaces, like cultural or teachings that you learn from an ancient space. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be your ancestors, but an ancestral learning or knowledge. Oh, sorry, there's this like puzzle thing, which is really annoying. Okay, so your energy, pretty powerful, but a little bit understated. You know, like it's not like it's coming out and punching someone in the face, but it could if it wanted to. But it's sort of just like, I'm here, you know. I like it. It's like simmering, you know. You could boil over, but it's actually a lot more of that. It's like a slow boil. So it's like a slow boil, you know. When you slow boil anything, the meat's tender. It actually is better. Instead of chewy, you know. It's kind of like that. You're kind of just simmering there. You're just kind of being patient or waiting for something, because it does feel with this bat energy that you're about to, like, there's a sensitivity to the bat, by the way. So there are some things that, you know, you feel that a bit sensitive to approach or to change or to transform, but the bat inevitably will transform it. So I just feel like a lot of activations in your energy this year. Like, this is a powerful year for you. I hope you know that, and this is why the universe will be bringing it in thick and fast. That's how I feel like I want to say it for a lot of people. Oh, the universe isn't going to be kind to you, but it is a kindness, because it's kind of like, it's like the universe looked at you and decided you had so much potential. Now it's going to remind you that you do, and it's going to make you remember a lot of the things that you've forgotten about yourself. And sometimes that may feel very like the universe is picking on you, but it's loving you. It is totally loving you. And we got to stop looking at like these spaces where we don't feel like we're 100% powerful, where we don't feel 100% loved, as a form of punishment. I think every move the universe makes, it does it in this beautiful, genius way that is trying to help the most amount of people as possible. You know, I don't think it can help us all at the same time, because, though it could be, I don't know. I'm just saying that it's trying to make the best decisions for the most amount of people as possible. Whoever believes in that, you know, whoever's ready for these changes, whoever's ready to embrace a new world, a new way of thinking, because that's what a new world really is. It's just a new way of thinking and feeling and being in your planet, and thinking differently about your planet. Yeah, so you've got Mikkel and Makkel coming forward from the fairies, and yeah, you just feel a little stuck. You feel a little stuck. So Mikkel and Makkel came up in reverse. So definitely, like for me, he's kind of like a there's a maturity to Mikkel and Makkel. Like he's just not being very serious about things, and it's kind of like for me, like it came in before. There's a bit of childhood stuff that you'll have to deal with, because I feel like the more you deal with that stuff, like this definitely from my own experience, the more I dealt with my inner child and dealt with my childhood stuff, the more I knew who I was and the less I carried. So I actually started to, grow. I started to expand, to become a lot more wiser, because I was able to mature the inner child. And it's not maturing the inner child where it loses all the imagination, creativity, but it's like this. It's like there's a mature adult supervising the inner child, so it doesn't have tantrums all the time, which can lead to self-sabotaging behaviors, or going into slumps or depression. So underneath the deck also was Spirit Dancer in reverse, which she's kind of like, I don't know if you can look at this card, but she's super active. Like there's a lot of energy flowing through her card. So when she's in reverse, it feels like there's some kind of resistance or delay. So you have both of these cards in reverse, and the fairies kind of talk about your personality. Like they're about, like, let's give more detail here. So when I look at what's being asked of you, I can understand why it's so hard to move forward. I can understand why it feels like the universe is kind of compressing, and it's interesting because you're a pearl. And I was talking about pearls earlier, and that pearls are created, from the oyster through sand and grit. It's an irritation, right? And to protect itself, the oyster actually coats it in this pearlesque coating, and it hardens and becomes a precious gem. Pearls also represent wisdom, right? And so I think, I'm going to be honest before I pull another card, this White Light Oracle, I think the way that I want to say it to you is that sometimes you feel like you're doing it alone. And the thing I said about pearls earlier is that they look they look beautiful in a necklace connected together. So I feel like either there's a community group, there's a platform where you can connect with others that are going through similar, or you're helping people out of similar situations, because it just feels like now's the time to really bring yourself into a group-like energy and get that love and support. That's why they were showing me all the love and support that's available to you, because sometimes we feel so very alone in this, and hard to, like, Spirit Dance is like free flow. This is when we're taking action, like we go straight from, we feel it, think it, do it. Feel it, think it, do it. Like if you look at a dancer, that they're a bit janky at first when they're learning the steps, but once they get it, then they're like, and it's kind of like Spirit Dancers like that. So at first, yeah, it might feel a bit weird and hard, but once you get into the flow, then it's easy. So it's kind of like maybe you're bringing a little bit more, or it feels like you're not progressing, but like anything, you have to learn the steps to the dance. And then Mikkel and Makkel's kind of like, there's a part of you that needs to just, I'm going to say grow up, but also like cheer yourself on. Like Mikkel and Makkel can say, oh, I don't really have very good self-inner talk as well. So it's kind of like the way when they say grow up, it's just like recognize your strengths. Boom. Recognize how intuitively guided you are, how powerful you are, how backed you are by spirit. Your ability to transform, in silence on your own, or changing the belief systems that are needing to be changed right now, especially around your emotional self. Like that's what I mean. That's when they show me the circle, it's here in the emotions, the feelings. It's that song, you have to love yourself. Why can't I love somebody else? And that song came in loud for me too. If I can love myself enough to know when it's time Time to let go. Yeah. Say all I really want. So you got QPO dissolving, my friend. I don't know if you can see, but it's coming out of your heart, right? Like there are things like, oh, I'm not going to get emotional because they did say the stormy water. So I write down notes before I come in because that way I can stay on track. Transversing the stormy waters of the heart, higher emotional output. So that's what they wrote, what I wrote down, what I heard before I came in. So with QPO dissolving, I just want to talk about it before I even read the meaning. But there are, I describe mine as cages. Like I had cages around my heart. I was like, there's my heart, and there were cages and cages and cages and cages. And I had to learn to dissolve those cages. I had to learn to dissolve any connection that I had that was emotional. I kept the wisdom and the teachings and the lessons from that, but I disconnected the emotional connection to some of these issues that I had around opening my heart. So it's kind of like you have to free yourself, you know, and dissolve whatever it is that's causing you heartache and pain. You know, it's like you'll be good as, it's like high highs, low lows, high highs, low lows. That's that cycle, round and round, up and down, roller coaster. And it's kind of like you can't get stuck in that cage anymore. You know, you need a bit of freedom. Your heart needs to be free. It's like these kind of things. So QPO, a decision that you'll have to make for yourself, of course, with the number 2. Okay, here we go. So QPO dissolving. It says, it's time to let go. Things are working out in their own way. Trust that your heart is wise and is leading you on a soul healing journey and the right spiritual path. Spirit wants to bring you a blessing and a resolution, but you must let go and allow it to happen, because events are unfolding according to a higher plan. Even if your plans are going awry, know that all will come together at the right time and in the best way possible. Surrender your struggle and hold on to your faith. It says you do not need to be in control in order to be safe and have things work out in the best possible way. So I feel like the tornado is happening in your heart, and like I said, collectively we're going to heal the shadow around love, the way what love means to us. And so each of us will be going through that expression, through our own unique expression of that and healing it. So even if you do feel like you're a bit stuck and you might have some mindsets and belief systems that are holding you back, I want you to know that whoever you look up to, whether that's God, the universe, your ancestors, whoever it is that you hold hands with, they haven't let your hand go. They've never let your hand go. So they're guiding you through this, and what you have to do is learn to walk it. Just walk it. Some days are good, some days aren't good. You know, that's the truth of it. That's life. But every day you're being led forward, and the more you move out of the past, the easier it will be in your body and in your life. That is straight up the truth, because a lot of us get stuck in the past physically. But see this horse ain't made for the past, my friend. This horse is made for the future. So future you is stepping forward. It wants to be seen, known and felt in your life. And that could be just freeing yourself from something that you've always felt held you back. No excuses. No excuses anymore to not heal this stuff. And like I said, a great time to get that support that you want, that you need to create that change. And don't forget, ask for the support. Karakia, mantras, you know, and reinforce it too in your own belief system, because it's something I say, if it's strong in your mind, it's strong in your energy. So if you're thinking passionately about something that brings you joy, You'll feel it in your heart, and your heart will radiate that energy outwards. Kia ora. Kia ora, Balloon Rose. Aroha mai, if I haven't said hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, awesome. Oh, okay. Alright, so, yeah, I send that message to you. Lots of love and good intentions. Pearl. Yeah, you're ready. You know, like, you're ready to move forward, my friend. You're ready to step out from the past into something brand new. And yet, it might be a little bit uncomfortable and weird, or you might not feel like you're, you know, progressing very fast, but, you know, there's something deep inside of you that knows what it's already doing. You just have to let it. And this is something I always say to people, you just got to let things happen. Just let it happen. And that way, you know, you kind of get out of your own way sometimes, eh? Because the person who holds us back the most is ourselves. So, kia ora, kia ora. No, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. Hello, Kura. You missed my awesome singing. Thank you, Pearl. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me read your cards and your energy. And I hope that helps you. Okay, awesome. Oh, I see you there. I see you there, my friend. Thank you so much. All right, I'll just put these away. Have a drink of water. Don't forget to have a drink of water, Pearl. This energy, yeah, a lot of energy usage. Water's a great conduit. It helps you replenish your body. Give these a good shuffle so that they're not together. We'll see what comes forward for everybody. Okay. I'll just quickly shuffle these up so we're all good. Okay. I'm already getting stuff. So, let me catch up first. Let me just shuffle these cards and then have a drink of water. Oh, thank you, my friend. Kia ora. Thank you, Pearl. All right, Leah, let's get into it. If you'd like to take a deep breath, we're just going to go straight in. Because I was like, oh, somebody wants to talk. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So, what I saw for you is literally, you know how, how can I describe that? You know how there's like, sometimes you see like, I'm sorry, it's just the way that they gave it to me, I've got to find the words. When someone goes like deep sea diving and they literally just have like them and maybe a spear, and they don't even need a snorkel mask, they kind of just go in and then just like and they kind of walk along the bottom of the like, it's not deep, but it's like deep enough, like it's way above your head, but you know, if you pushed up you could get up there fast enough. They're like master divers. Okay, so we're just bringing the information to words. Translating feeling can be tough. So what I saw for you was that you were going through a deep dive and you kind of got plunged into it, which I'm glad. Deep dive makes me feel good. Or at least you're doing as deep a dive as you can right now. That's what I want to say. And I think you forgot how masterful you are at these spaces, because that can often mean more than just like an emotional deep dive. Is this a spiritual deep dive? Is this a feminine deep dive? Is this you remembering some of your past lives? Like, there's a lot in there. And the thing was, what I saw was that when you first jumped in the water, it was like you got pulled under. It was like something pulled you down, and then you got to the bottom of the, you know, the sea floor, and instead of trying to rush back up, you kind of stopped and you looked left and right, and you were like, oh, well, I'm just gonna walk along here, and you start walking along. And I can see that, you know, there is a lot of work that you're putting in to walk through this, and sometimes it can feel like, you know, you're trying to move out of emotional spaces, and yet every time you do, the emotion seems to be causing that resistance for your body. You know, it's because your body's still there, but your knowing and your spirit is strong. It's like, I'm going to be honest, my friend, like, you didn't get brought here to suffer. You got brought here to learn something, to remember something, and then to express that something. And it's sort of like the way that it shows me is like your soul is calling out to you, and you cannot ignore it anymore. That call gets stronger and stronger, and that's what I mean. It's like you got pulled down into those deep waters, and instead of freaking out, it was almost like you remembered that you came from that space. Like, I've been here before. This isn't a weird space for me. This is something like I know this place. That's how it feels. And instead of trying to go back straight up, you decided to explore. You know, you're holding your breath under the water, and I think you forgot that you could breathe under there too. I'm not saying right now in physical life, but it's metaphorical. You know, you've forgotten you came from the water. You forgot you are part of it. So there's a lot that's coming back to you this year. There's a lot that's returning in memory, in knowledge, and spirituality, and also your own feminine energy is rising up. And as we know, we've all seen the AI thing, and I just want to know that I knew that before AI brought it up, because Spirit showed me a cycle. And because I was right into the twin flame energy, I don't know why it's bringing it up for you, but, and I believe that, I was showing, it was a cycle, like we're in the age of Pisces. That's right, Pisces is the fish underwater. You know, it's a deep spiritual space, Pisces, right? It's a deep loving space. This is why we need deep love transformation. And it literally showed me a woman going up and the men going down like this. But what's happening is when a woman reaches a certain point, she reaches straight down and pulls the man up to become one. Not even joking. I'm just going to show you, because I get a lot of channelings, and so you can see that here it says, oh, if that makes sense. I wrote to become one, and it's the same aspect where once the feminine rises up, the masculine naturally just comes to the surface to meet. And it's kind of like a lot of us will be stepping into our feminine energy and our feminine power, because something needs to be birthed into the world. And that's what I mean. It's like, so for me, yours is very spiritual, and they said you were a very good learner and a strong student. So whatever you've gone through in life, your spiritual team, the universe, however you see your spiritual support, is proud of what you've gone through and come out of that better end of. And even though sometimes you might fall back into that space or revert, because it's actually natural to revert, by the way. Even I can do it sometimes. I can be deeply loving, I can be very compassionate, very kind, but every now and then, well, sometimes I'm going to be a right C-U-N-T, you know, because that's just the vibe for the day. But we don't punish ourselves when we fall back. Okay, we don't hurt ourselves because we made a mistake. We accept that we made that mistake. We learn the lesson and we move forward. So my suggestion is to you, even though you might be going back and going through a lot of the stuff that you've gone through or overcome, find the lesson in it. Right? Yeah, you're pearl diving. This is the thing. They were showing me pearls, and it's interesting. The first reading we get to do was a pearl, and it was, you know, you might have thought that you were an irritation to the world, but you've become very precious. A pearl contains wisdom, you know. And it's like you're trying to find your marbles. You're trying to find the pieces of you that you lost along the way, because you know they're important. How are you going to find the wholeness of you if you don't find those pieces? Yeah. They're singing a song to me, so I'm just... is that Billy Joel? In the Middle of the Night? You know that song? In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep through the jungle of doubt to the river so deep. I've been searching for something, I don't know the words, but that's what I heard. Something that I lost. We need to listen to that song, but I can't right now, but I will. I'm going to go listen to it later. Anyway. Billy Joel, In the Middle of the Night. It's an old ass song. Actually, I like this song back in the day. I like to listen to all the songs that I mentioned when I... Yeah, so what that meant for me... Sorry, I'm just writing it down. What that meant for me is that there's a lot of astral spaces that you're dealing with right now. So if you are feeling burdened or overwhelmed by some of those spaces, don't forget to ask for support. That's what I mean. We all have to ask for support in the deepness and the darkness of ourselves, you know. And you ask for support so that when you're in the darkest parts, there's still light available to you if you can't find your own. Okay? Because, I mean, when we're doing those deep dives, when we're looking through, you know, this kind of territory, we have to have support. You know, we have to have a lifeline to come forward for us. And if we haven't got one in physical life, then we have to ask for it in your spiritual life. That way you don't feel alone in it all, because sometimes we can get like that. So, you know, I don't want to say that you have to go through purifying your waters, your spiritual waters, but maybe that's a good thing to do, because it just feels like everything's a little bit muddy. That's why, even though I saw you dropping down, there was like that initial being pulled down. And so there is maybe a little bit of feeling a bit helpless or a bit thrown around by life, but just remember that you are made for this space and how strong you are and how much you've overcome. So let's pull some cards, eh? Hopefully that made sense, my friend. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, yeah, no, that's what I want to say. I don't even try to do this, but you got an app student, which I actually really like this card. And you've got a dreamer's spawn. So I really like that. So you're definitely here to bring in something new, my friend. Like I said, you're pearl hunting too. So you're going to be connecting with people that are going to actually support and help you on this path. I feel like you need to also, this is going to be a message I'm going to be giving to anyone, because this is the message we're all getting, you know, right now. And is that we need to create community and connection, because connection is one of the 3 C's of love, right? So we've got connection, compassion and consideration, and you need people that have all 3 of these traits in your life, okay, all in one person. And yes, it's possible to have that. So an app student, like I said, that you've gone through so many lessons, don't ever think that you haven't overcome them and or learned something or gotten the wisdom from it, because I just feel like I said, you were sent here to do something else, to learn something, to bring it forward, and you got a dreamer's being born to bring forward something new into the world. So, and then we're talking about the astral spaces, which is interesting. So an app student, like I said, yeah, it's just time to tap in, eh? Have you been doing your stuff? Developing your skills? Or do you still feel like you're a learner? Because I'm going to say you probably aren't a learner anymore. And a dream is being born. I think you're going to create a new timeline for yourself, a new narrative, a new story, because I think you're tired of being trapped in the old one, in the old ways. And it's like a clean slate, like a time to, I know this says born again, but it doesn't have to be in a religious state. We can actually renew ourselves. So it's kind of just like I think you're just ready to create something new, and change is sometimes difficult. But never lose faith of why you're here and what you came to do. So it just feels like you definitely have to find your why. Is it, why? Why me? Why this place? Why am I going to do this? What is my passion? There's heaps of questions you can ask yourself or ask to find out this information. So I don't know, do you have starseed connections, or are you starting to look into stuff like that, or are you tapping into stuff like that? Because for some odd reason, it's like you got sent from the stars. That's how I felt, I want to say. And I just heard Mintaka. I don't know what that means. That's a place, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, if you don't believe in starseeds, it just feels like you were sent here by the universe in order to learn about life, in order to learn the wisdom that you need to bring forward. It seems pretty big, and it's like I'm stuck on these two cards, and even though I know I want to move forward, these two cards seem really important. The way I want to say is that don't forget the reason why you came here. That's the honest truth. That's all that comes forward. It's like, don't forget the reason why you came here. So let's get some cards for your energy. So where your energy's at. The reason why I find your energy is just so I can tap in a little bit deeper. So if you've had a reading from me before, then it's easier for me to connect to you. It's like my echolocation finds you faster. That's why it's like, whoa, can you slow down? Oh, man. Yeah, you've been definitely on a long journey, my friend. You've got the camel. But I'm going to show you what was underneath the deck when I flip the cards over. You're the camel. And don't feel bad about that. It's actually a really beautiful card. It is of the fire energy. So for me, it's about endurance. Okay, there's a resilience here. You've been on a long journey. So this is where we go on a... I have to find the word. So there's a specific word they use in this particular card. I just want to bring it forward. A pilgrimage. You've been on a pilgrimage. That's interesting. But for me, it's like a journey. And the thing about the camel is, like, there's been times in your life where you haven't had the things that you've needed to feel nourished. There's been times in your life that you've been beaten and battered by the intensity of life. But for some odd reason, you just keep living. Some odd reason, you just have the resources to keep moving forward. And even though sometimes you might take a few steps back or a lot of steps back, there's a part of you that just keeps calling you forward. That's what I mean. It's even when I saw you dropping into the ocean, dropping, and it's like I got forced to go. Got forced down. That's the feeling I got when you came down. It's just like, oh, I'm not too sure. But once you hit the bottom, you were just like, oh, okay, there. And it's kind of like with that camel energy, it's like you just keep moving along that path, and it may not feel like, everybody wants like the tiger, the eagle, and it may not be like this fancy, that's not a very way to say it, but it's, even though the camel may not seem fancy or special in its own right, it is the only animal that can cross the Sahara Desert without dying of thirst anyway. Can endure even the harshest climates. And I just feel like you've just been through so many harsh climates that you've come out stronger than ever before. And the reason why I wanted to acknowledge the card that was underneath the deck. It was the oyster. So pearls, they keep showing me pearls. So it's interesting because the oyster itself is about, you know, you can see like there's stuff coming out of it. Time to break out of the shell. Okay, sure, that opened up something. Okay, so what I just got come in was that I think you've been living in a shell. Like, this is like someone said this is your story, and you believe that this was your story, you know, and you live that story, but that story doesn't serve you anymore. You're starting to outgrow it, and there's parts of you that are, you know, it's sort of like not leakage, but you know, it's like leaking out. That's not the word. Emitting. It's interesting that that comes forward. I don't even say it, and you don't even know what you've got in you yet. You haven't even, you know, like, you know that you've got something in you, but you don't even know what it is yet. Like, I love to see things like this, because even if it's not on a spiritual level, even if it's just some kind of like skill that you have that you can bring into the world, you don't even know what you got yet. And that's beautiful, because it's kind of like, do you know how much potential that could lead to? Like, whatever it is, it's inside you and it's asking to come forward. Like I said, your soul is calling you, and it's hard to ignore, and good luck trying to ignore it. You know, you're on a journey, you're on a pilgrimage. So pilgrimage, you end up at the temple, right? The temple. I did talk about temples earlier. All these temples in your heart, you know, worship at the temple of your heart, my friend. That's that deep love transformation. What does love mean to you? How is it going to show up in your life? And don't let those negative thoughts or naysayers deter you from your true self. That's not. Alright, I just saw that card fall on the ground, and you've got himself. This is the thing about this card, he is himself. That's what they talk about. He doesn't pretend, he just is. So it just feels like, you know, a lot of people associate this to being like a masculine in your life coming in. But for me, I never really take it outwards, because it's kind of like a lot of people, when they come to see me, they've come to see their soul. They've come to have a listen to what their soul has to say. And their soul is fixed on you. And so when I see that, it's like a divine masculine that rises within you. This ability to protect yourself. This ability to know yourself, to be firm and solidified in who you are. It's like a stronger presence showing up for you. Or you show up in a stronger presence. You know, it's sort of like affecting a room when you walk into it. Just because you know that you've got something beautiful inside you, and it wants to radiate outwards. It wants to share its frequency. It wants to share its, I don't know, it's like it's love, you know. I want to share this. You've got so much inside of you that's stuck. So much inside of you that's stuck. I love himself showing up for you, my friend, because it's just like raw power. You look at this card, focused, intense, you know, sort of like, you see those antenna, they always represent like intuition, intelligence. You see those lights around there, absolutely tuning in. So channeling, right? Maybe channeling more intuitive spaces, but take it to the heart, my friend. That's always going to be my advice as well. Take it to the heart first. Don't go straight for the brain, go straight for the heart. Let the heart, you know, harmonize you. And that's what we have to understand. There's something I got taught too, was that I had to learn to harmonize my energy before I really tuned in to my intuition. Otherwise it takes a toll on the physical body. And so himself is really intuitive. He's really strong in his knowing, like he's confident, like he owns his space, and he's not afraid to speak his mind, but he'll do it in an articulate way. That's the thing about himself. He's a gentleman too. Like, he's not just gonna come in and be like, oh, and he's gonna come in and he's like, da 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 da. As simple as that. Simple structured words, but have impact and power. I actually really love that. I feel like that when we have a strong masculine energy, then our feminine energy is a lot more powerful. Like we have to balance the feminine and masculine in us before we can balance the feminine and the masculine in another. And the more in tune you are with yourself in this way, the more you'll attract the people that are similar, on the same vibe, on the same frequency. So a lot of us, when we have relationships, when we're broken, right, or we're not really broken, we just kind of distorted ourselves. We find others that have the same distortion. So when we heal that space, when we feel strong in who we are, we tend to attract people that are similar to that. So I kind of like that for you, my friend, if that isn't already happening. Anyway, let's pull a white light oracle. Well, okay, two, you get two. Oh, you got Kutuhala and the Queen of the Nagas. So you got Karma of Kutuhala. So it's kind of like the Phoenix, right? And you got Queen of the Nagas. I love this card. I love this card. I like the depth of these cards. And they got simple, beautiful, messages. And they're all very deeply spiritual. So I'll just speak the message and then I'll give you a little bit of backstory to understand what these cards actually mean. So you got number 43, Karma of Kutuhala. 43 breaks down to a 7. 7s are about intelligence and learning. Sorry, it's right down the back. There we go. So I'll read this one first. Karma of Kutuhala. It says, your sacred soul passion is powerful enough to shift the state of your inner reality and your outer experience. So commit to what truly ignites your heart and do not be dissuaded by anything or anyone. If you are seeking to make a commitment, do so when it truly connects you to your heart. Follow your genuine, meaningful bliss. Know that no matter what happens or how it appears to be, you shall prevail. You shall arise. Ooh. That's all I'm going to say. So, Karma of Kutuhala. Kutuhala is a Sanskrit term that translates as that which excites wonder. Even if it doesn't seem like it will lead us anywhere practical, following our bliss can allow for something beautiful and deeply fulfilling to unfold. We often pursue what is sensible and secure. Yet, what could be more appropriate or divinely and delightfully inappropriate than pursuing a path so intoxicating, so fascinating, so utterly mesmerizing to the spirit that no matter what challenges arise, you feel so much love and commitment and passion, you shall not turn away. That felt like that took me to church. I feel that deep in my heart for you, my friend. I just feel like the universe is showing up for everybody because guess what? You deserve it. We often forget that when we move into our mundane spaces of just being a mum or cleaning and cooking and, doing what we got to do to get by, and then we forget our own divinity and our own strength and power. Hopefully you remember yours. Whenever you need it, my friend, pull it forward. Bring it forward to the light. So Queen of Nagas. I actually really like this card. So it says, oh yeah, far out. A sacred task exists for you to fulfill. That's what I was talking about here, eh? You're a student, you're here to learn something, then bring it forward. Just gonna say. A sacred task exists for you to fulfill. It is to be found through connection to your heart. Be open only to those most authentic teachings who prove helpful to your continued spiritual progress and personal freedom. Cleansing your body, mind and soul. Cleansing your body, mind, heart and soul will be of particular benefit at this time. Powerful, subtle energies are helping ensure your success. Believe that many positive synchronicities and unexpected allies will rally to support you because pearls are connected. That's why they keep showing me pearls. That's why I brought pearls up in yours. and you're cultivating and creating a pearl too. So that's interesting. And synchronicities is the way that the universe speaks to you directly. So I always talk about the key code. So everyone has different ways of understanding codes, but for me, when I notice something that repeats itself, I catalog it in the key code. It's kind of like your, you know, like how you unlock doors, you got to put in a code, a lock, you know, you put in a lock. So you put in a code and then that lock unlocks. So it's like you're learning to understand your key code and you're slowly unlocking doors and locks so you can move through things. So cataloging, you know, a lot of your synchronicities and see which ones repeat. Not just the numbers, but things that people say to you, things that said around you, or, you know, a particular feeling you get when you hear something. Like, it's also the inside of your body is talking to you in that same aspect. So your body is a beautiful sensory being, and it picks up things so much easier than we consciously know. Anyway, the mysterious beings known as Nagas are recognized in spiritual traditions across India, Nepal and Tibet, as well as in other shamanic and cultural traditions. Nagas are connected to water and are extremely sensitive to pollutions and poisons of all kinds. They become disturbed when waters are polluted. So what were we saying? Muddy waters, eh? Was this you? Did I say that to you? I might have said it to Pearl, sorry. Since our bodies are composed of more water than anything else, when the waters of our planet are disturbed, so too are we. So interesting that the first vision I see of you is falling into the water and walking through the water. So it's kind of interesting that the Queen of Nagas shows up and says you've got a spiritual task, a sacred spiritual task, and that it is about their sensitivity to the waters. So it just feels like, yeah, for me, like it just comes here. Like I wrote these notes down before I started the live, which is traversing the stormy waters with high emotional output. So it's interesting, you got the camel, like if we connect the dots, right? You got the camel, and the camel's about travel, you know, traversing hard climates or in the desert, basically. And so it's like there's a part of you that, you know, but the thing about the camel is it's resourceful, you know, it has the hump, it has storage, so it never actually goes without. So it's like there's a part of you that's actually been maybe moving in territories that doesn't belong to, you know what I mean, like you've had to traverse other people's territories, so it's time to find your own. So there could be moving or movement to a different space or a place where you can be. I feel like you need to connect to a lot more water, and I don't know if you can access water, but a large body of water, okay, and to maybe have a bit of a, you know, as a Māori, this is what we do. We wash ourselves in the water. We go down to the awa or to the ocean, mainly the awa for cleansing, and then we just wash ourselves, the river, sorry, and we just wash the water or have a dip. And that's how we purify and allow that to carry on, right? Yeah, I feel like maybe you just need to clear your auric field with water, a cleansing space for you, and a blessing in the same light. Especially if you pray to the water first. Like for me, if I want to do that, I actually do a karakia or a prayer to the water and ask for its blessing, right? And then I use the water over myself. Yeah, but I don't know why Mintaka. I think you should look that up. For some odd reason they said Mintaka really loud, so there's another thing that I want to say about that. But yeah, that's all I'm getting for you now, my friend. I hope this message serves you in some way, shape or form. And yeah, take care of yourself. Oh, thank you, Miss Girl. Appreciate that. Hello, Sonia Eclipse. Hi, Lorraine. Aroha mai. When I do my readings, I'm looking down Good to see you too. Oh my gosh, I just saw that. You had a vision. Yeah, because Mintaka, that's star seeds, eh? That's star seeds as well. So, you know, if you think about Merkabas, that's like not just star seeds, but it's divine spaces. Hi there. You just go to my profile and there's a link to my stand store, and right at the top is live reading donations if you'd like to get a reading. Thank you for the follow. Thank you to everyone that's followed and liked the live so far. I appreciate that. So that was the lovely Phoenix Flicks. Thank you, my friend. I know that that was a lot, and a lot of it, there was just a lot. It's like it's been ages since I've been able to tap in and tune in with you fellas, so it's nice to kind of just sort of let it all out, because, you know, like for me, I start feeling a lot of the messages before I get into the live, you know, beforehand. So it's nice to kind of have that output, and to sort of just, you know, when I'm doing the readings, I feel so much like myself. Like I feel like that's me. Like this is I feel really good when I do it, and I love the way that the universe kind of, I say the universe, just kind of shares, you know, that space with me, and then hopefully I bring forward the message that actually resonates and helps you, you know, move forward, because that's my goal, for you to suffer less and for you to be able to move forward on your path. Yeah, I missed everybody too. I just had to go through the, you know, the deepening. That's what I'm saying. I went through the deepening. I can't describe anything else, but it was like the universe shut me down almost to the point where I actually wanted to step away from spiritual spaces. And that's just because so much change happened in a very short amount of time, and I was overwhelmed, and so I went inside, because that's just how I cope. But when I started to explore the inner, deeper spaces of me, right, it led me to a totally different space, and I was discovering things, you know, like, oh, maybe I had to go through this change in my life so that it would change the way I was moving, and it changed the energy, which changed the map that I was working on, and it expanded. And it expanded and it expanded and it expanded, and I just spent, like, I think just 2 whole months exploring the inner world and understanding and integrating its knowledge. Like, you know, you don't even know what you got inside you. And so I was saying to a lot of the ladies, you don't even know what you got inside you, but it's pretty freaking special. You know, it's pretty deep and powerful. We just gotta let it come out. Let it be shown. Because I think anybody who has deep levels of compassion, deep levels of connection, and deep levels of consideration are going to bring, you know, those are for me the 3 C's of love, going to bring forward some beautiful spaces, you know, when they just tune into their beautiful skill sets that they can bring forward into the world. And it's not always like of the spiritual nature. You might be just that one person that creates that beautiful artwork piece that changes, you know, how people think about themselves. They walk past your piece of artwork and they're just like, that piece of artwork is so beautiful. You know, I feel inspired and go about, you know, doing something different. Yeah, that's actually going to happen a lot in the month of March. So March also has like eclipses happening. So for me, and I understand, eclipses are like, you know, like power surges, really, just the moon eclipsing, but those are all symbolic for, you know, for humans, and they mean different things to different people. But yeah. I went through a lot of challenges last year, and changes like my family moving out and me becoming independent. So I was living with my mum. I'm a Māori, so we live communally. And I was just ready, and she knew I was ready, and I was just like, I'm ready for you to sort of, I love you. My brother wanted her anyway. I love my mum, I love her deeply, but I was just ready, after living together for a few years, to go out on my own and to be independent. And because it'd been a while, sort of just, going through like my spiritual journey and coming out on the other side of that, getting a job, things like that, the things that we need to do for ourselves, balancing my life out a lot better. And at first it was a little bit overwhelming. Had a few negative things happen for my children, and then just, I don't know, I just think it's just fuel for the fire, like it's kind of like all these things start happening, but it doesn't feel like they're happening in a good way. But the results and the outcome of you overcoming those challenges or coming to terms with things or bringing balance to a situation, that's when you realize, actually, if that didn't happen that way, I might not be standing here doing what I'm doing right now. I might be doing something completely different. And so they're all connected, even the challenges, even the hardships. It's like the way that they nudge you forward, because we actually grow through challenge, through adversity. And it's that adversity, that challenge, that actually teaches us what we're made of. So yeah, there was just a lot of challenges that came forward, but I don't regret any single one of them. I don't regret those days that I was just bawling my eyeballs out in my bed all day long. Feeling super depressed and wondering why everything felt so hard on my solar plexus. But yeah, it's sort of just like when it all started to make sense, when all the dots started to connect, then I was able to just, make sense of it all, and found new spaces, like mentally my mind expanded outwards. It kind of just broke through any of the belief systems that I call it dissolved. It dissolved all the belief systems that kept me chained up or locked down or caged. I started to step more into who I was, and I found like better direction through life. So I just think that a lot of us are going to go through those changes, and those changes are going to show you a completely different way to live your life. That's going to be more beneficial. It's going to showcase to you what you're holding on to that's no longer real for you, what doesn't serve you. That's why people say that. What doesn't serve you is literally belief systems and mindsets in your body and behaviors that you do that are causing a lot of the things that are working against you. So when you move into alignment, they call it moving into Dharma. So Dharma is living righteously, and that means you're always trying to do what's right for not only yourself first and foremost, but that your decisions try to at least do the best it can for everyone else. That's what I said, that's what the universe is doing. It's living in Dharma. It's trying to make the right decisions for all of us. But of course, you're not always going to be perfect every time. But there's a beautiful creative genius that happens, when you let things happen instead of fighting it. Blessing in disguise, yeah. Oh, I'm only doing paid readings, but if no one wants to get a reading right now, then I'll pull one for you, Lorraine. I was actually looking at getting off soon. So if you'd like to get a reading from me, now's the time. Other than that, I'm going to jump off, but I am going to go live probably, if not Friday night, Saturday. It's only because Fridays, I don't know if I'm going to get my granddaughter. If I get my granddaughter, then, yeah. What I'll do is I'll pull a card for you, Lorraine, and then we'll see what your energy is from the wild unknown and spirit. You got the dolphin. I just left someone in his with a third party. Well, I think you've saved yourself some pain and suffering if you've left them now instead of allowing them to be with the third party, then take them back. You've dodged a bullet. That's not your loss, that's their loss. Yeah. Okay, Lorraine, you got a dolphin card. I kind of like that. I hope this is actually your energy right now. But let's read it. Oh, hang on. One second. I'll try and find it in this deck. Alright, so it says, innately intelligent, healer. Oh, okay, that's really nice, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just popping stuff in. So, the reason why you got the dolphin card, my friend, is because this is what you look like in your highest self. When you're in your truest self, when you're free from pain and suffering, when you're free from mental anguish, when you're free from the past. And I feel like you've been holding on to the past a lot, and there's a part of you that actually wants to be free and radiate good positive energy out there into the world. So it says innately intelligent healer, light and blessings. Okay, the gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on level of spirit. Okay, sorry, they're interrupting. So what I just got, I don't know if you saw my spiel about, why I don't identify as an empath. Because the way that they just said that this dolphin works both ways. It can radiate and also it can absorb. So it's like for me, and because the thing about a dolphin is that like it's very family orientated, and if it's isolated from its family or if it loses someone that it loves, it can actually suffer a lot of loss and actually have a breakdown. Like dolphins can actually show signs of depression, even though naturally they are happy, outgoing, sociable, loving animals, or mammals, sorry. And so the reason why they're sort of interjecting here is that I put up a video about not identifying as an empath. Now, I'm not trying to drill this into everybody's, down everyone's throat, but it's kind of like evolving past the empath meaning, evolving past being stuck as an empath. And that's all I meant by that, is that there is like other levels that you could be, so you're not just bound to absorb everybody's stuff, that you can actually control what comes in and out when you learn how to be clairsentient, which is clear feeling, right, in your body. And when we have clear feelings, like we have clear waters, right, we have clear emotional waters, and dolphins need clean water. And that's what I mean. They're kind of saying that if you're connecting with people who have muddy waters or have not so great quality water in them, which is their spiritual waters or their energy water, this dolphin is going to be greatly affected by that. But that also includes if you're choosing to swim in that ocean, then you're choosing that pain and suffering as well. So it's kind of like for you, if you can start visualizing yourself being a lot more carefree and detached from other people's energy, like this is me, you're sovereign, right? You have to be a sovereign being in the spiritual terms, not so much in how everyone uses it in the world. But for me, it's that belief system. No one and nothing can touch me unless I allow it. And I'm really firm and believe that 100%. So I can't be negatively affected by people. That's the only way I can do this kind of work. Because when I wasn't someone who was sovereign, when I was identifying as an empath, I was getting sick doing all the readings. I was having breakdowns. I was going through dark patches. I was going through heaviness because I was always absorbing everybody's stuff. And I had to learn to be sovereign. I had to learn to stand in my own energy and my own power and own the space that I'm in, right? And no one and nothing can shake me from that space. It is mine and mine alone. And the reason why I started to be like that is now I can choose what I choose to take into my body. I can choose whether or not I'm going to be emotional about it or not. I choose whether or not I absorb that pain. I choose whether or not I tap into the mind and share your suffering. Okay? Not just absorb it all and then have to try and discern what is yours and what is mine. That's half of the job. That's why there's a lot of toll on the physical body. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like for you, you're a super duper empath, my friend. And it's beautiful. and you can share so much love into the world, but also the downside is that you will also, in reverse, absorb it. So it's kind of like when they're interrupting me while I'm trying to read this nice message to you. It's like, okay, I haven't been on live for ages, I know. And so it's been a while since we've been able to tap in. And I definitely see things a different way, or at least, I'm just going to say a more expanded way of understanding when it comes to spiritual messages. And it was just like, this is a beautiful card, but this is what you look like without any heaviness of the past. This is what you look like when you step into the here and now and you're in a state of grace. And state of grace is, when I say state of grace, the state of grace is when you're at ease, when you're at peace, and when you're in joy of your own being. And a lot of people want to do spiritual work, but they don't understand that space. It's really hard to do the work. It's the hardest job ever. But if you're sensitive, which we know you are, and you don't know how to become sovereign in your energy, you will be bound to absorb people's stuff. And that can take years off your life. And I guarantee you. And I'll tell you this. When you start to truly live in your purpose, when you're living in the here and now, you actually stop aging. Right? I'm 46 years old. And slowly, it's sort of just like, oh, why do I feel better in my skin? Why do I feel a bit more upbeat? Why am I feeling this, and why am I feeling, less ache and pain, aches and pains? That's because I'm a lot more in my purpose. I'm a lot more in the here and now, and I'm not carrying the weight of the past or the weight of others. I'm just carrying my own weight. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like understanding that when we start to learn to let go, we don't have to carry stuff anymore. We can be free. Free within our own bodies. Free within our own skin. It's hard to describe that. I know it's hard to describe, but the energy levels just go up another notch when you're not sitting in the past. So let's read this message again, because you deserve this whole message without interruption. So you got the dolphin. It says, gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on that level of spirit. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming into contact with the dolphin type will change the entire course of your day and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on the way. And if a profound blessing is on the way, my friend, it's because you deserve it. Hey, start believing that. When in balance, active healer, strong spiritual practice. So hopefully you guys are doing your spiritual hygiene. When out of balance, underestimates own power. Oh, well, everyone does that too, eh? To bring into balance like-minded spirits. Yes. We have to learn to create community so we often don't feel alone on this journey. And that's something, the reason why I'm trying to bring forward the evolution of the empath is so that we can start connecting with each other on a broader scale in the collective. And if you tune in and turn on your skill sets and abilities, Lorraine, and let go of the past and move into the here and now and stand in your own sovereign energy, you'll be surprised how much you help people just by existing. So a lot of, when they talk about the dolphin energy, it's kind of like you can be standing in the middle of a room full of crowded people and they may not even see you. They may not even notice you. You may not even talk to them. But just you being in the middle of them changes the energy. It changes them, even if they're not consciously aware of it. And sometimes people like that often feel ignored, unappreciated, unseen, invisible. I felt invisible for years until I learned that that's because I was constantly radiating this energy out, this innate healing that we have inside of us, each one of us. All we got to do is amplify that through loving ourselves, having positive mindsets and belief systems that support you, and just being authentically you. No apologies, just be you. Sometimes you're going to be awesome. Sometimes you're going to be positive. Sometimes you're going to be amping it up and inspiring everyone. And then sometimes you're just going to be like, meh. Don't look at me. Well, you're human. You're allowed to be. You're allowed to have days like that, okay? Sorry, I've got this fringe part thing. It's just annoying the shit out of me. But I hope that message serves you, Lorraine. I hope that helps you in some way, shape or form. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So if there's no more readings, I might actually jump offline and have some dinner, because you know I don't eat before I do readings, because if I eat, then it's sort of like, it's not that it lowers my frequency, it's just that my body feels heavier, and so it's harder to tune in, tap in. Kapai. Kia ora, my friend. Yeah, so aroha mai. I think I'm going to jump off for now, but thank you to everyone that came in. Lots of love, and I'll be going live if I don't get my granddaughter tomorrow. I'm trying to change the hours, because I think I was always just going like at night, but sometimes it'd be nice to go during the day if I get a couple of hours here and there. So you might be able to catch me. I'm going to do a sub live, probably, if not Friday or Saturday, and that's just for anyone that wants to subscribe. They get to have a free reading, okay? So, well, it's not really free, but you subscribe, and it's not actually a high cost like the $44 one. The $44 live readings, that's where you get all the cards, and then you get me sitting in that intuitive space. But if you'd like a personal reading, I have those available as well. Just look at my stand store, and just click the service you would like. And if not, if you haven't followed me, follow me, or just catch me in a video. If you have questions, catch me in a video, comment in a video, and I will make a video once I find your comment or question, okay? So lots of love to everybody. Take care of yourself. Oh, thank you, my friend Kuda. Look after yourself too. And yeah, just choose happiness, or choose love. I choose love when I go to sleep and when I wake up, because when I do, it's like telling the universe I'm open to something better. I call it the loving path. That's why I always choose love, because I choose the loving path, and the loving path allows me to cultivate and create something that supports me, something that helps me and nourishes me. And I think I spent so many years being malnourished by myself that in these years I choose a more gentler way. And not everybody likes gentle. Some people like rough, but I've been through the rough. So you don't get to be this shiny and this polished by feeling something smooth all the way. No, you go through the rough just like anyone else. Yes, Navish. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. Alright, that's me for the night. Thank you to all those that got a reading. Take care of yourselves. Paul Marty here. Good night.